LESSERAFIM just dropped their latest EP, Crazy, and the streets are abuzz. I asked the cards how the girlies are feeling generally and about their comeback. I was not expecting the reading to go the way it did, and the first half of the reading honestly was low-key kind of sad, but it also definitely confirmed the things they said in their documentary. Two major things though: the girlies allegedly wanted a different sound for this comeback, and a potential new scandal might be looming. I will say, please wish LESSERAFIM peace and love, like for real. And as always, everything I say in this video is all alleged, and let's go! Oh, okay. Wow. This doesn't apply to all the members in the group, but one member in specific. The Six of Swords is like moving away or towards something, or just sometimes it also can talk about a transition. The Lovers can talk about like choice or sort of thinking about like the consequences of your actions. The Star card in the reverse position is like vulnerability or being exposed, especially in a bad way. This feels like it could be a member. Okay, I'm gonna say it right off the bat. This feels like Sakura. I don't know for sure, but it doesn't feel like the whole group. It also could be other members too, like Unchain maybe, but some of the members, before I speak, say more. Temperance, a lack of balance, Page of Cups, youthful energy. Oh, this is all Cups cards. This is all about emotions. Yeah, especially because the Star card is also water, and the Star card can be a particularly emotional. Someone feels really vulnerable right now, unbalanced, emotional, kind of like sad, or like almost like melancholy, or I guess like a better word would be almost insecure. Whoever this is somebody, they're very intuitive, they're very introspective, they don't particularly feel like unique or like they add to whatever like they're doing, especially with like the Queen of Cups right there, which in the upper position, the Queen of Cups is somebody who's very in charge of their emotions, is very like empathetic and able to like be there and be present. In the reverse position, it can be like sadness or like insecurity almost. And the Temperance, like a lack of balance. Someone in LESSERAFIM is not doing well. Okay, so the Knight of Wands in the reverse position. Knight of Wands is like apprehension, it can be tension, it can be like you have to keep your guard up at all times. The Knight of Wands, the guy is looking at the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is somebody who's very nurturing, very balanced, is able to like bring things into the physical world and like take care of them really well. And then you have the Two of Swords in the reverse position. Someone's contemplating their career. Oh, no. Well, I'm just going to say it. And also, I'm not saying this is Sakura. I'm just saying that she keeps popping up in my mind. But it could be any of the members. There could be talks among the members. This genuinely feels like one member in specific. I think they've mentioned it from time to time, but they're contemplating it more seriously. I'm not saying that someone's going to leave the group, but more that they just like feel a deep sense of insecurity and sort of like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? Especially because the Nine of Wands in the reverse position, if you look at this guy's face, it's like deep apprehension, just like fear, and like really like tense, almost like they have to like protect what's theirs, guard what's theirs. Let's say one of the members in LESSERAFIM, like they have a deep affinity and love for music, for K-pop music, for dancing, for performing, for who they are in their career, but at the same time, there's just sort of like a deep sense of insecurity. The Two of Swords in the reverse position is like making a choice. Usually it's like on the inner, like subconscious or internal level, but that might be like a lack, like I'm not claiming mistreatment by a source or Hive or any of them, but that can sometimes talk about like a lack, like somebody is favored more than somebody else. But sometimes that can also talk about like an internal thing where you're over prioritizing in one area and not in the other. The Hermit is a need for introspection, or like soul searching, or sometimes it's also the desire of it, or somebody's just sort of going in that direction. And then you have the Six of Cups, which talks about childhood, especially in an emotional way. I think they're like at a point in their life where they're starting to really like consider like who they are as a person in their career, etc. It feels like it's been going on for a while, though, I'll be honest. Like there's just like a deep sense of like, who am I? I don't think it's because like there's problems in the group. Empress is a lack of taking care of yourself. The Five of Swords is walking away, and the Ten of Swords is like an ending of something. It would, but also the indication of like the beginning of something new. I'm gonna be honest, and I like Sakura a lot. I'm a big fan of LESSERAFIM. This feels like Sakura. Also because she is coming up on her Saturn return in a couple of years. Regardless, it feels like somebody, if it's not Sakura, it's somebody in LESSERAFIM that's having a really tough time and feels very insecure about where they are in life. Which, you know, everybody goes through, but I think if you're a public figure, it just happens on a bigger scale. How does that impact their comeback? A need for a new perspective, or in not getting it? The Hierophant, that can talk about hive or source, or just some sort of like structure, company, working on your craft. They're trying, T. Is that the girls or hive? What I'm reading is, I feel like LESSERAFIM, the girls, wanted to go in a different musical direction. I don't think they hate their concept that they're doing this time around, but they wanted to do something else. And their company was like, no. This is also like a, what's the word? In this comeback, I think they really like tried hard to sharpen their skills. I think they've been training very, very hard to improve and make sure that like the public doesn't point out like any sort of flaws that they have going on. I think they are kind of frustrated with like how they're practicing like with themselves, and you're sort of like, you're not gonna like settle for things you don't want. But the Ten of Wands is working at something, but it's like a burden. Oh, this is about their comeback still. Yeah, I feel like the girls agreed to something they didn't want to agree to. Especially because you have the Hierophant, which is company. You have this is beating on your craft. This is energy, but it's like slow energy, lethargic energy, or just not the vibe kind of a thing. The Fool is like walking into something you didn't realize you were going to walk into. The Knight of Swords, to me, reads as the internet. But these two are like, this is a burden, and this is something you didn't necessarily want. And you were like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's their comeback in whole. It could be like a performance they agreed to do and they shouldn't have. But it's sort of like they're caught between a rock and a hard place because their company makes a large majority of their decisions. So it's harder for them to say no to stuff. Their company has a really strong like perfectionistic culture where it's like you do it however many times you need to do it and able to be like perfect, even if it's like good enough would have sufficed, except in like K-pop. And also because they just have like a target on there. The Knight of Swords is a swift moving card. Oh, that's the internet. Is there going to be like a new scandal with them? The Knight of Swords to me feels like the internet or fandom, just because it's like really fast moving, and it's coming for them. The Knight of Swords is in the upright position, which doesn't indicate necessarily for this card good or bad, but like there's something that's coming for them. Strength. I wouldn't say they hate their comeback, but I think they were hoping that they would have a different sound or direction. I feel like they have some input in what they put out. I don't think they're entirely like, this is what we give you and you dance to it. But I think it's like, there's more conversations about like, well, what if we make this our next comeback or whatever? And the company was like, nah, this is what you're doing. The Strength card, like that's your inner strength. Sometimes it can be like growing, especially like if you have like a really strong inner critic and like you're like, okay, like we're gonna speak nicely to ourselves now. This is literally another transition card. The Eight of Cups is like the walking away from something, especially something that's emotional. The Knight of Wands, energetically, and this is the internet again. No, I really don't. I don't want them to have another scandal. To some degree, I don't know if it's going to be a scandal. I don't know if it's going to be exactly like it was a couple of months ago. But I feel like it's just sort of like re-kickstarting, like they're going to do something and it's like, oh, like they're lip singing, like, oh, like, I don't know, but walking away from something, why is it facing the Strength card? I think it's gonna, whatever is coming, because it feels like something external. The other thing too is it honestly feels kind of petty. It feels like something that's not a big deal. It's not like they, you know, like said something like deeply offensive. It's just something kind of petty where it's like, I mean, it's K-pop, you know what I mean? But people like want to be angry. And we let them. But the Knight of Wands, charging towards walking away from something. I don't know. They have to walk away from something. Stop it. The Tower. This combination to me makes me feel like they're lacking confidence. This is going to shake their confidence even more, this comeback, instead of bolstering it up. Not that I don't think people are going to hate this comeback. at the same time, I feel like there will be a lot of critics, more than previous comebacks. The Tower, I didn't mean to gasp at the Tower, my bad, but like the Tower just means like a sudden and dramatic change. The Tower, because it's a major arcana, can be a major event, but it doesn't necessarily mean we'll know about it as like fans, you know? But something and that can also talk about like a restructuring that could be within the group. It's sort of like, I don't know, like if somebody like becomes like a better singer, they become like the lead and the main thing or whatever, or if somebody becomes more popular as like positives, but it could also be like, I don't know, like a key creative director behind the scenes like quits. I don't know. It feels like we'll see, low-key. I don't feel like it'll be totally public, but we'll notice. The Three of Wands, that's looking at like what you have, thinking about it, how to like strategy, especially like energetically, like how can we like change like the current of the wind to like go in our favor. A lot of Knight cards. That's interesting. We've gotten 3 Knight cards so far. Knights is protective. It can also talk about direction and speed of things. The Knight of Pentacles in the upright position. The Knight of Pentacles is like physical. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, something's going to happen. I think it's a drama. I understand now. Something's going to happen. I think it's going to be drama. It's going to be tea. Whatever it is, though, and I think it'll kind of put them in like a bad light. I think it'll be petty, to be honest. But the Wheel of Fortune talks about like, in the upright position, it's like good luck. So whatever comes from this, it doesn't feel like it'll last that long. Maybe like a couple of weeks of like, you know, tons of videos and tweeting and whatever. But the Wheel of Fortune, it'll come out in their favor. Oh, specifically financially or like physically. Like it'll lead to higher album sales. It'll lead to more money, or like awards. So like the group this will be a successful comeback. I don't think it'll be a beloved comeback. Oh, this is defensiveness. That's you fighting off the fans. King of Cups, emotions. They're not doing well, I'll say. I'll allege it for entertainment purposes only. I don't feel like the girls are doing well emotionally. Just because most of the emotion cards have been like not in the best positions to indicate that, especially because the King of Cups is the King of Emotions. It can be a person. It can be masculine energy. It feels internal to the group, or at least the people that work around the group as well. But like, this is like true defensiveness, like especially when it comes to like fans and stuff like that, where it's like, could we just give us a break? The need for a rebirth. I think something in the way the group operates needs to change. And speaking specifically about like the company and the group, like the way they practice or how hard they're pushed or how much they are scheduled or something, because death in the reverse position as like the stalling or delay of like something new, a rebirth essentially. I don't think it's creatively. Personally, I like their music. I like the direction they go in creatively. But like this is more like how they function and how they function, especially because of the wands, which is like energy. So that could be like they're overworked, or like their practices are too hard, or like somebody they interact with is like really like critical of them or something like that, and it's affecting them emotionally. And like that needs to change, but it's not going to for some reason. Queen of Wands, that's somebody who's like not in their element. The Queen of Wands is that girl. In the reverse position, it's like insecurity. It'd be like a really, really pretty girl who thinks they're like ugly. That's kind of the vibe. Not saying that's what is happening here, but that's what I always think of when I think of the Queen of Wands. So it's somebody who is not in their element. The Nine of Cups. That can, the Nine of Cups is complicated because it can be like good fortune and like good feelings emotionally, but sometimes it can also talk about like a dependence on like alcohol, low-key, or it can just be sort of like saying you're okay and believing you're okay, but you're not, but you're like, no, like I'm totally fine, like I could be a therapist, and it's like you're about to have a breakdown. Ace of Cups. This is complicated because the Ace of Cups, I see two things happening right now. I think this comeback is going to be successful financially, physically. I think they'll get awards. I think the fans will like it, low-key. I think this comeback will also have a lot of haters. I think it'll be very criticized. Something like a petty scandal is going to happen. The Ace of Cups, though, the Ace of Pentacles is the beginning of something new. This is rest and relaxation. But this is like this is like doing well, and you are, but you're literally not. It's sort of like on the outside, it's like, yeah, like I'm doing fine, but it's like things could like fall or end at any moment, especially because you have the Queen of Wands, which is like kind of also insecurity. Picking something that you shouldn't be picking. King of Swords. Okay. Beyond what I just said, because I think I have a feeling that's going to happen, I also just have a strong inkling that they're not doing well. The King of Swords, masculine energy again. Somebody who like talks a lot, is a good talker. But you have the Five of Cups, which is focusing on like the things that you've lost or the things that didn't go right. And you also have the Seven of Cups in the reverse position, which is like, it's not always like a bad card to pull necessarily, but it's sort of like you have a lot of decisions and they all seem kind of bad or sound kind of bad. I think LESSERAFIM needs a break. That's all I'm gonna say, is I feel like LESSERAFIM needs a break. I don't think they're doing poorly because things are necessarily going poorly. I think it's just been a lot for them. I think they've had a lot going on. I feel like they practice very hard. I think they try really, really hard to be perfect. I think they're booked and busy a lot, you know, photo shoots and music videos and like traveling and touring and singing and stuff. I think they need a break because I feel like they're all stressed out and mentally not doing as well as they could. I'm not saying they're depressed. I'm not diagnosing anyone of anything. But, I mean, in terms of like sales and stuff, they're doing well. In terms of like having a lot of fans, they're doing well. In terms of even like improving, they're doing well. But in terms of like emotionally, I feel like they feel very insecure.